Sit. Good morning. I'm whispering because Nikki's asleep, but I want to start the vlog. I'll take you through a bit of my day, but I've got some stuff I want to talk about that I mentioned in the last vlog. I hope you can hear this. I've just woke up and I realised it's too dark to do my check-in and stuff, so I'm gonna have a coffee, chill with Maggie, and just see what happens. But yeah, good morning. It's so pretty. Okay, it's daylight now. I need to go do my check-in. So Maggie's little morning routine is she wakes up at like 5:15, maybe 5. You're lucky if I can get to sleep till 6 any day of the week. And she goes out and then she wants her breakfast and then she just comes back to sleep. But her routine is she cuddles with me down here because I tend to be the one that gets up early, and then I am going to take her upstairs and put her in bed with Nikki, and they'll have a little bit of a snooze while I'm going to do my check-in today, but normally it'd just be while I do my cardio. So I'm going to go do my check-in and drop Maggie off with her dad. I don't think he'll let me film it, but I'll try. Got my cute little new orange posing bikini on. Ignore that mess. This is gonna be a very real vlog. I've not tidied the house at all because I don't have the time midweek, so it's gonna be messy, and hopefully it makes people like me feel a bit better about themselves, that people who don't have fucking perfect houses and pristine everything. I mean, we moved in, oh my god, like nearly 8 months ago, and we still don't have a sofa, proper sofa. We still don't have any furniture. It's all good. It's all good. We're just vibing. It's fine. But anyway, I'm gonna do check-in. I'm not gonna film it. I'll talk you through that in a sec. Check-in done. I'm not gonna share my check-in. I've just been dieting for some photo shoots, and I'm not gonna lie, I am really happy doing it for myself rather than having any external pressure. So I haven't really shared any check-ins on Instagram or anywhere. I've just been like, head down, do it for me, just trying to find what aligns with me right now. And I've always shared everything I do, and I always find it puts a lot of internal pressure on me. It's not necessarily pressure from anyone else directly, but I feel it. And so I'm just trying to make sure that if I didn't enjoy that last time when I maybe shared loads of information about everything going on, that this time I still share, and still, I'm always like an open, honest person anyway, but I don't want to ruin the process of doing something for myself by feeling like I'm letting other people down or things aren't going well, stuff like that. So we're staying inwards with what's going on, but I'm really happy with that check-in. I mean, it's that time of the month, so I'm a bit bloated, but it is what it is. But anyway, I will catch you soon. So this is how we are looking at the start of cardio. I'll see you in a bit. Oh my god, I need to fake tan so bad. I have a photo shoot on Tuesday and it's currently Friday. And so I'm like at that stage where my tan has come off, and I would normally do it on the Thursday. So I'm like, I have a little bit, but not a lot. But I can't do my tan now because it needs to look its best on Tuesday. So this is, I keep saying this is just raw. This is just a bit of real life, because I feel like that's what I like to see. Oh my god, I'm out of breath. Very sweaty cardio session. I look like a little boy. I'm gonna go and do my abs now. I was skipping them for months. So I have been on a roll. I've done them every day for like 2 weeks. Like literally I get off the treadmill, abs, that's it. Like I just make myself do it straight away. I feel like the biggest thing that interferes with habits is like the procrastination, or like I like group tasks together. So like now I mentally associate getting off the treadmill with abs. So that's what we're gonna go do. But I'm gonna catch up with you after I shower and look a bit less like this. Okay, I'm looking a bit windswept, but I just did a little walk with Mags, and then I had to walk to Tesco, just grab some bits. Nikki's not feeling too well. I was ill last week and now I've given it to him. So I've just gone and got some supplies to make him an easy breakfast so we eat something. So I'm gonna make my first meal too, and I just thought I'd sit you down and have a chat. Can we talk about why Tesco wanna play you? Like, so this is a box of 20 sachets of this oats and it was £3.50. And the box of 8 sachets was £4. Just why? So now I've got 20 sachets of oats that we probably won't use all of, but that's fine. That is fine. So although today's gonna be like a vlog situation, I also want to talk about finding alignment with yourself again, particularly after a period of feeling very unaligned. And I think that it's very easy to do is to kind of just carry on a path because that was what you once wanted, and then suddenly you start to maybe not feel as good about things, or I don't know, sometimes things just aren't clicking and you don't even notice that that's how you feel. And I definitely feel like that happened to me. Right, I'm gonna have to stop because I need to pour milk into this and that's just gonna end bad. It's a lot of milk. Are they sure? I have my doubts about this consistency. I'm an oat clean. I know what I'm doing. I'm so skeptical about this ratio. It says 2 minutes, but I feel like I'm gonna end up with oats everywhere. I definitely, like I've already touched on this in the last videos, but I felt a little bit out of alignment with myself and I couldn't figure out what it was last year that was making me feel that way. And I kind of wanted to talk through some of the things that I've done to help myself kind of get back on track with that. And the first thing is just writing down your dream setup. I think sometimes it's easier to do that than write down what you want. When people are often asked like, oh, tell me what you want. Like a lot of people will be like, I don't know. And so it's like, right, okay, rather than tell me what you want, tell me if you could just like design your dream life right now and you would just live that forever. Just tell me what that is. And that kind of tells you what you want. And I know that sounds like it's exactly the same thing, but it's not. Because if you'd asked me last year, what do you want from life? I'd be like, oh, I don't know. They'd be like, right, what is your dream life setup? And it doesn't have to be specific, but it could be something like, I want to be able to wake up at any time I want. Or it could be, I want to be able to travel anytime, any place. It could be, I want to be able to retire my family. Like, do you know what I mean? Like things like that. And then bit by bit, you work backwards. I find that that is the easiest way to kind of figure out what you want, is to think, what would my end goal of everything be? But this was definitely something I did a lot of work on, even more so at the beginning of the year. So I've just put the kettle on, it's gonna get even noisier. But this was something I did even more work on at the beginning of the year. And I think it's definitely something as well, if you're in a relationship, you need to make sure that you talk about this with the other person and that you both want the same things firstly, and that one of you isn't shying away from saying what they truly want, because sometimes that communication can get so lost, or it just becomes really hard to know what you're working towards when you don't know what you're working towards. And especially if life does feel a bit stagnant, which again I talked about last time, it's very hard to see past that stagnant point and think, oh my goodness, is this all my life is? And that's not coming from a place of being ungrateful, but from a place of being like, I feel like there's more in me to have and to give. I'm gonna touch on that in a bit. I'm gonna carry on making breakfast and then I'll probably come back to this in a little bit because I feel like I'm gonna mess up something. I'm back just making my breakfast and just waiting for my oats to cool down enough to put my weight in. But yeah, the first step I found to finding alignment again was just taking the time, and I mean the time, like this isn't something you do in like an hour, but like take time to think about what you want, think about the different options. Sorry, noticing my hairs. Take that time to think about the different options and what that would mean for your life, Like, you know, what would doing this do? What would doing that do? If I went down this path, how would that affect other things? If I went down this path, you know, like take that time to really look in and out of yourself, thinking about what external things you would do and how it would make you feel and what else it would impact, because it's very easy to think you want something and just go for it and then be like, oh, that's just not in alignment with who I am or actually what I want for the future. And so just take that time, and then once you know and you are feeling aligned with the thing that you are wanting to work towards, whether it's a certain money goal, whether it's a certain lifestyle, whether it's body goal, whether it's a career goal, anything, like once you've got that to that point and you know what you want, that's where I feel like the overwhelm just kicks in. And there's a few little practices that I'm going to talk over later, because I don't want to make this too much of a long ramble now. But just before I move on, I was listening to a really interesting podcast this morning. It's by, so the brand is like Manifestation Babe. Her name's Catherine, and she does lots of different podcasts, YouTube. She has like her own platform, like Self-Made Millionaire, Girl Boss, love it. And she did a podcast with a shaman, also another like amazing female lady, and they've done a few of them, and this one today was, Is It My Destiny to Have Money, was like the title. I'm going to see if I can play it for you.
If it was not possible for you, you would not even perceive it as a possibility for you.
That. If it was not a possibility for you, you wouldn't perceive it as a possibility. And this is where we're going to go into like a bit of like woo talk, I guess, but ideas don't just come to you by accident. We are both a product of what we were maybe meant to do and also what we want to do. I think a lot of people think, oh, maybe I'm not meant to do this, maybe I'm not meant for it. But if you can perceive it as an option for your life, that possibility exists. And how it manifests, that's where the differentiation comes in and all that other stuff. But just know that if you look at what the life that you want and you think maybe this just isn't possible for me, I'm telling you now that if you can perceive that, then it's possible. We don't know how and what way that's going to turn into that possibility, but it's possible. And that sentence just changes the game. If you can perceive how you want your life to look and an option for your life, then there's nothing that says that it's not meant for you. And I'm going to leave it on that note, because that sentence, I've literally just sat and thought about that for about an hour and I will probably continue to think about it all weekend. So anyway, gonna get my actual meal sorted now and go sit in bed with Nikki and Maggie, and then I'm gonna go get ready for the gym. I've got some client work to do, catch up with that, and then I'll probably catch you on my way to the gym. But thank you for listening to this part of that talk, and I hope that that little sentence leaves you something to think about for the rest of the day. Been doing some client work in the car, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm having like a rosacea flare up. I don't know if anyone else suffers with it. Me and Nikki both have it, and this camera blurs, but my cheeks are looking red. Anyway, I'm just picking myself apart, but just not why we're here. You're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you've got this. Right, I've got my coffee, we're pre-workout, and I wanna pick up the chats. So I'm just gonna have a sip, gather my thoughts, I'll be back. So where I left off was basically talking about actually deciding what you want from life. And one thing I probably didn't make clear was that this is like a process that will probably go on multiple times throughout your life. What you want year on year does change, because you are always going to be influenced by things that happen to you, people that come into your life, experiences you have. That is just what life is. And I think it's very important to know that you need to find what you want in this moment and work towards it, but continually evaluate and make sure that this is what you want. And if it's not, then you need to change that direction. You need to make the changes happen, because you are the only one who holds that power. This next bit I'm going to talk about is like a process that I did after I had decided, actually, this is what I want. Now, I actually need to redo this for myself, and I've got a bit of a quiet weekend. I've got a quieter weekend coming up, and I really want to sit down with myself in the morning rather than scrolling on my phone or anything like that. I want to do this practice, so I'm looking forward to it. I might even film a little bit of it. So I learned this from, this is just a coincidence, I was listening to her podcast earlier, but from Catherine Hewen's Manifestation Babe, when I did a little like 5 days course she did on manifestation. And this practice is about channeling the version of yourself that has the life that you want, and then describing them. I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm just going to call this person like future Jenny, right? Future Jenny. And I basically wrote down all these things that future Jenny did and had, and how she acted, and how she thought about herself, and how she thought about our life, and blah blah blah. Then you need to take, like, this could be a really long list, and mine was very long. There was a lot of things that I could really envision myself having and doing, and like I even went into describing my morning routine and like my evening routine, what my day-to-day life would look like as this person. From there, you look at that list and you need to compare it to where you are now, and you need to see what you can do towards it. Now, one real life example that came from my list when I did this back in January was that my future Jenny had her finances sorted. She was on top of it all, and it wasn't causing her stress. She was living her life not thinking about money. And this was a big one for me, and I know money is a funny subject, so I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I think it's something that probably relates to a lot of people, especially a lot of self-employed people. I had an accountant that wasn't specific to the fitness industry, and there was a lot of things I didn't know and a lot of things I didn't understand, and that was fine. They did their job, they did my tax returns, but I felt so out of the loop. I never knew what was going on until I got a letter through the post twice a year. And after I got a big bill that I didn't understand and I didn't know, I stopped with this accountant and I was like, I'm going to sort myself out. And rather than sorting it out, I just let it traumatize me, and I ignored it until this tax year came around, and I went, shit. And I was trying to do it myself, and it was obviously in January, it was around the same time I was doing this list, and I was like, I'm not letting this happen to myself ever again, and the future me is not gonna let that situation happen. And so actually a few weeks ago I got in touch with, I want to say he's called Fit Pro Financial Instagram. I'm gonna put his Instagram here if I can. If I can't, I'll put it down below. I had my call with him yesterday to set up me as a client, and the relief I felt and the alignment I felt yesterday was amazing. I was just like, wow, that was something I have needed to do and I've just put off doing. And it took me writing down that my future self would have her finances sorted for me to be like, I need to take action. And I took the action, and all of a sudden my life felt better. And I almost felt like we took that step towards the version of myself I want to be. Like I said, this is an exercise I want to redo because there's definitely some things that have changed for what I really want for myself. I want to see what I can do today. Same with the YouTube. I put that YouTube video up, the first one that you saw last week. Same thing. I had wanted to do it. I knew my future self wanted to do it. And it took me in this moment to be like, no, go and do that. So I want you to go, if you're doing this, I want you to go and describe your future self to yourself, like in as much detail as you possibly can, and then write down all the things that they are, and just pick like 1 or 2 things each week even that are gonna help you towards it. Because I always use the example of like, I'm gonna do a bodybuilding show. If you never start a prep, then you'll never do a show. Or you say, I'm gonna win a bodybuilding show. If you never start a prep, you'll never win a show. If you never enter a show, you'll never win a show. Like, all of those steps come before you can be that thing, before you can be that champion that you said you wanted to be. And so you have to take the steps in the lead up to it. And it's the same with everything in life. I can say all I want, I've got my finances sorted and I'm good with money, but unless I go and do an accountancy course or really spend a lot of my time learning about accountancy, I need to just go and hire an accountant to make that bit true. And this is when it comes into the law of attraction, how it's sold to us on a very basic level of you want it, you believe you can have it, you get it, and you want it, you believe it can happen, you take the necessary action towards anything that you need to personally do, and then you receive it. And so that step of action has been so liberating for me. In finding alignment, I find that actually just taking all those steps back, describing your life, describing that version of you that you want, and you could name that version of you anything, and like have it as like this alter ego that you're constantly working towards. And like I say, that person and persona can change, but I found that such a liberating exercise that as soon as I did that YouTube and I started talking about being in alignment with my goals, I knew my next video I really want to talk on alignment. So yeah, that's probably gonna be all the woo talk we have for today because I've rambled. But anyway, I'm gonna go into the gym, got my coffee, I'm gonna actually drink this now because all I've done is chat. I've got back, maybe film a few sets. I'm not gonna go too over the top though because this video is going to be long, so I'll maybe film a little couple of clips which you'll see next, and then I will join you later. I'm going to have a quiet evening, lots of work, steps and stuff, so once my session is done I will check back in. Hello, so I went to finish this off the other day and I completely forgot I was editing it, and I was like, wow, I didn't actually film anything else. Diet brain kicking in strong. So I just wanted to go over the little written practices that I was talking about. I've actually only done one of them since then. Life's been a bit hectic. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't felt in the place to go forward with some of the other things. I have still been doing a lot of the other things that help me feel good, my meditation, my stretching, my affirmations in the morning on the treadmill, but I haven't been mentally ready to necessarily take lots of other big steps towards things, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to talk you over the kind of like the writing out your life part of helping you decide what you want. I can't remember what I called this practice, but basically I write it like a diary entry almost, and I always write at the top, I'll pop a little picture of it here because I took a picture of it before I filled it in, and it just says, "Dear diary, I'm so grateful that this is my life." And then I make it into sections, and I do it in sections so I find it easier to make sure I don't miss anything. So I tend to always go for like home, so basically like where you live, all the details about that, career, all the details about that, relationships, all the details about that, personal, like anything else in there, and then normally finances as well. Now sometimes finances and career can kind of mash, so those are like the big kind of 5 topics that I cover, and making sure that I do go into as much depth as possible with this. Sometimes I do this over a few days so I can go back and read it, add to it, really think about it. And I like to make sure that when I'm doing this practice, I'm not doing it in a place of, oh, this is something I have to do. So sometimes I will leave it for a few days. If something happens that maybe does put me in a bit of a bad mood, sometimes it will lift me up to do an exercise like this. And sometimes I find myself pouring my negativity into something that should be helping me feel better. And so I like to pull back, reset, and just take my time to really think about it. From here, what I will do is I will go through that list. I will look at all the, or not the list, the diary, like the diary entry I've basically written, and I will pick out all the points, and I'll look at this life that I'm describing, and I'll think, right, what kind of person like is going to achieve this? And it might be a confident person, it might be a money-wise person, like I talked about. It could have like lots of like business focus. So for example, like what would I need to do to elevate my business in that way? What are the steps I would need to take? What are the traits I would need to have? How would I need to live my life in order to fulfill what I'm writing that I want? Because I think it's very easy to say that you want something but then not be really prepared to actually do it. I'm gonna leave this here. This is a topic that I could ramble on about forever, but I hope that you have found this inspiring. I hope it's maybe made you think, and I would really love to hear in the comments any
luck you have with this, any ideas it's inspired within you. I don't quite know what the next video will be. I think most of my videos will have some kind of mindset chat behind them. I've really been enjoying getting back to editing, and sharing this side of things is what makes me feel so happy and so aligned. When I uploaded that first YouTube, it was by no means the most successful YouTube I've put up on my channel, but I got so much positive feedback from it and so many people messaging some really nice things, and it was almost like the universe was telling me like, yes, do more of that. And so I'm really looking forward to doing this. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment. I love hearing everyone's feedback, and I really am looking forward to filming the next one. So thank you very much. Bye.